Picture this. You sit down to create content. You've blocked it on your calendar. You've got your coffee, your tea, or cacao in my case. You open your laptop and nothing. Your mind goes blank. Or worse yet, it fills with 100 ideas that all feel wrong. So you scroll Instagram for inspiration. You reorganize your desk. Then you tell yourself, I'll come back to it later. Sound familiar? I'm Diane, and I help soulpreneurs organize both their business backend and their internal state. And here's what I want you to know. If creating content feels paralyzing, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. And it's definitely not because you don't have anything valuable to say. There's actually a psychological reason why this happens. And once you understand it, you can work with it instead of fighting it. So let's talk about why your brain freezes when it's time to create content, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Here's what I hear all the time from soulpreneurs. I sit down to write a caption and I just freeze. I know I need to create content, but every time I try, my mind goes blank. I have so many ideas, but when there's actually time to create something, I can't think of a single thing to say. And then there's the procrastination spiral. You put it off, you put it off, you put it off, and then you're creating content at 11 p.m. the night before you need to post or send it off, hating every second of it. If this is you, I want you to know something important. This isn't a discipline problem. This is a nervous system issue. Your brain isn't broken. Your creativity isn't gone. What's happening is that your nervous system is perceiving content creation as a threat. And when your nervous system perceives threat, what does it do? Fight, fight, freeze. And for a lot of heart-centered entrepreneurs, we freeze. So let's talk about why this happens. Because when you sit down to write content, you're not just writing words or recording a video. You're putting yourself out there. You're being visible. You're potentially being judged. And if you're a sensitive, intuitive entrepreneur, your nervous system picks up on all of that. And it starts asking questions like, what if this isn't good enough? What if people think I don't know what I'm talking about? What if I say the wrong thing? What if nobody engages in it? These aren't conscious thoughts necessarily. They're happening in the background. And your nervous system is trying to protect you from this perceived danger, which essentially shuts you down. So it's the freeze response. It's not laziness. It's your body just trying to keep you safe. It's doing what it was created to do. The problem is staying invisible doesn't actually keep you safe. It keeps you stuck. And here's the other piece that's happening for a lot of us. There's an inner critic running in the background. That voice that says, who do you think you are? Or this isn't original enough. Or everyone else is doing this better. The inner critic, which was developed a long time ago, probably during your childhood, as a way to keep you from being rejected or criticized, is just trying to protect you. But now it's just keeping you from sharing your gifts with the world. So here's something I'd like to offer for you to try instead. It's something called the 2-minute awareness practice. Before you sit down to create any content, take 2 minutes to check in with yourself, not to fix anything. Just notice. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? What's the inner critic saying? Just notice. That's it. Here's why this works. Once you bring the conscious awareness into what's happening, you interrupt the automatic freeze response. You're essentially telling your nervous system, I see you, I hear you, but we're safe. We can do this. So you're not arguing with the inner critic. You're not trying to force yourself to feel different. You're just creating a little space between the fear and the action. And in that space, your creativity can actually breathe. Another practice I'd like to offer is the messy first draft method. Here's how it works. Give yourself permission to do it messy. I'm serious. Sit down and say it out loud. I'm going to write the worst caption in the history of Instagram. This blog post is going to have lots of errors in it. This video is going to be a mess and it's okay. Then create it. Don't edit it, don't second guess it, just get something out. What happens when you do this is it takes the pressure off. You're not trying to be perfect, you're not trying to be brilliant, you're just trying to get something on the page. And here's what I found. Once you have that first messy draft, your brain relaxes because now you have something to work with. You can edit, you refine, but you can't edit a blank page. Plus you've told your nervous system, this is easy, I can do this, because the freeze happens when the stakes are too high. So we lower the stakes. We make it okay to be messy. We give ourselves permission to be human. The third thing I recommend is creating a simple content planning system. And I know that might sound counterintuitive. You're thinking, Diane, I can barely create content. How am I supposed to plan it? But here's the thing. When your brain knows there's a plan, it relaxes. It doesn't have to work so hard. You're not sitting at a blank page asking, what should I create today? You already know what you're creating because you decided it last week. It doesn't have to be complicated, just a simple spreadsheet or a note that you write down topic ideas when they come to you, a loose content calendar for the week, your content pillars so you know what to talk about. When your brain has structure, it feels safe. And when it feels safer, it's easier to create. Now I want to talk to you about the deeper work for a minute, because these practical tools will help. But if you really want to shift this pattern long term, there's an internal piece that needs attention too. And that's the relationship you have with your inner critic. That voice that says, I'm not good enough. It's not your enemy. It's just a part of you that's scared. It's trying to protect you from rejection, from criticism, from being seen, from being judged. So instead of fighting it, what if you could talk to it the way you do a scared child? I hear you. I know you're worried, but we're safe here. And the people who need to hear this message, they're waiting for you. This is what I mean by reparenting the inner critic. You're not getting rid of it, you're building a different relationship with it. One where you can acknowledge the fear and move forward anyway. This isn't something that we do once and we're fixed. It's an ongoing practice. But every time you create content from this place, you're showing your nervous system that it's safe to be visible. And over time, the freeze response gets quieter. I had a client, a beautiful soul, who was a wellness coach, and she came to me because she couldn't show up on social media consistently. She'd go weeks without posting, and then she'd feel guilty, and then force herself to post something that was inauthentic, and then disappear again and start the cycle over. We started working on her backend systems, but as we did, it became clear that the real issue wasn't her backend systems. It was her nervous system. She was terrified to be seen, terrified of saying the wrong thing, terrified that people would judge her, that she's not qualified enough. So we started implementing these practices. The 2-minute check-in, the messy first draft method, the simple content plan, and something shifted. She started posting again. Not perfectly, not every day, but consistently, authentically, because she wasn't trying to be perfect anymore. She was just showing up. That's what this work does. It doesn't make you perfect, it makes you brave. So if you've been struggling with content creation, here's what I'd like you to know. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You do not lack discipline. Your nervous system is just trying to keep you safe. And the inner critic, it's just doing its best with the tools that it has. But you can teach them both that it's safe to be visible, and it's safe to share your voice, and it's safe to create imperfectly. Start with the 2-minute awareness practice. Try the messy first draft method. Create a simple content plan. And if you want support for your business backend systems and your internal state, sign up for the Strategic Blueprint Program, which is a 5-week program that helps you do just that. You'll find the link below, but honestly, just trying one of these practices this week will shift something. Creating content doesn't have to feel paralyzing, and you don't have to force yourself to show up in ways that drain you. What if instead you could create from a place that feels safe, supported, and aligned? I believe that's possible for you, and I would love to hear how it goes. Drop a comment and let me know which one of these practices you're going to try, or share what's keeping you frozen when it comes time to create content. I read every comment. Stay gold, my friends.